This is a very special episode for me because I am interviewing my own life coach, the fabulous Kym Showers. Kym is a certified life coach who works with women over 40 to live their best life in the second half of life. I had actually been following Kym for about a year on Instagram, and I was totally obsessed with her energy, with her incredible style, with her brand and her zest for life, and how she was living this dream life in her 60s, a time when most women just fade into the background. I started telling people I want to be Kym when I grow up. So shortly after my 40th birthday, I reached out to her and I was like, hey, you don't know me, but I'm old enough and I want to work with you now. And she has been my coach ever since. This is Superbloom Coach, the podcast for ambitious women ready to 10x their business and their life. I'm your host, Mariah Riona, award-winning luxury brand designer and certified life coach. And every week, I'll be here as your Superbloom coach, helping you ditch the limiting beliefs that are keeping you stuck, small, and broke. We'll dive deep into the mindset, marketing, and strategy that actually moves the needle. Plus, have candid conversations with powerhouse women entrepreneurs who are blooming big in their own businesses. If you're ready to grow, you're in the right place. Welcome, Kym. Thank you for coming.
Oh my gosh, it's such a privilege and honor and so much fun to be here, Mariah. Are you kidding? Being interviewed by the great Mariah, the $1 million
yes,
Mariah.
We're going to talk about.
I love you so much, and
thank you. We are going to talk about $1 Million Mariah, but first, I would love for you to introduce yourself to my audience for those who might not know who you are. Tell us a bit about how you got into coaching.
I am Kym Showers. I'm 64 years old. I've been married to my dream man, Jeff Showers, for 41 years. On Monday, August 4th, it will be 41 years. We're celebrating all weekend. I have created my dream life at 64. I started coaching 8 years ago. I started my life coaching business. I was certified at the life coach school, just like you were. I was actually in Brooke Castillo's very last in-person training in Dallas, Texas. And it was life-changing for me. It just changed my life. I knew at 56 years old, I wanted to do something different moving forward. I wanted to reinvent my life. I started a podcast when I turned 60 called Reinvented After 40. It's so good. I run my Instagram page. I get all of my clients from Instagram and from my podcast. So proud of everything that I've accomplished in the last 8 years. It's been extraordinary. I've coached hundreds of women and we've all changed our lives. I'm very much about growing and changing and evolving in the second half of life. I truly believe it's the best half if we want it to be, if we make it that way. So I've been very determined, very focused, very disciplined. I'm having a blast. I've met the best women and I just have become my dream self, my dream person, my dream woman, my dream friend.
I love that you work with women over 40. I love that you make it the best half of life because honestly, I just turned 40 last summer and I feel like I'm just getting started. And that's such an amazing feeling, right? Because I feel like traditionally women are just put on a shelf after 40 and it's okay, we're done with you. And I'm like, no, this is when it's just gonna start happening, right? And that's what happened for you.
Yeah, well, you have to decide that and you have to get that idea in your head because the world gives us the idea that this is the time to take a back seat. This is the time to slow down and put our feet up and chill, and everybody retires. And I do not like the word retire. I never use the word retire. Really, truly, it's when we're just getting started and taking off. And other 64-year-old women are landing their plane. And I'm just like, oh no, I'm just taking flight 100%. I feel like that every single year of my life, truly. It just gets better and more expansive instead of smaller, more limiting. And my life just gets better and more expansive.
We're going to put all of her information in the description so you can go stalk her on Instagram like I did.
Yes, please do.
For those who don't know, you're such an inspiration just to follow on Instagram because you live your best life and document it. And like I said, like I always joke, but like I'm for real. I'm like, I want to be Kym when I grow up because like you do all the things and you document it and it's so powerful. And I think you worked with me a lot this last year on doing that in my own life so that I could like show up as my best version of myself. But like kind of share with people what your life looks like now, how you have created this best life.
I have created a daily routine that I'm pretty disciplined about, but it's a routine that is super fun for me. I'm very interesting about all the choices that I make because it's really just, I am my most important person. So I make sure I get every single thing that I want and that I need. And when my husband started snoring, when, like maybe 14, 15 years ago, and, I had to find like a place to sleep at night. I had to sleep in the guest room or he had to sleep in the guest room. And I was just irritated with him all the time because I wasn't getting my sleep. Long story short. So we moved to my dream house at the beach in 2020. So 5 years ago, we bought my dream house at the beach overlooking the Pacific Ocean. And I want to tell you a little bit about that later because it's really important. It's a very important part of creating my dream life, right? They're all impossible dreams. I'm living the impossible dream, right? That 15 years ago, I didn't think was possible for me. And I've actually created all of it. But my daily routine is I'm in bed by between 6 and 7 every night. I sleep in my own beautiful suite. I have my own beautiful bedroom, my own huge, beautiful closet, my own beautiful bathroom. So I go to sleep every night. I'm sound asleep by 7 o'clock every night. And I get up at 3:30 every morning, right? So I'm not bothering my husband because he has his own beautiful suite down the hall. And so it's as though we're just dating. But I wake up at 3:30. I come upstairs. I turn on my party lights. First of all my party lights are on in my backyard so I can see them. So I just start my day off that way. And then I make my beautiful cappuccino. I answer some emails. I usually listen to some kind of YouTube encouragement. And then I go to Orange Theory Fitness and take the 5 a.m. class. And I take 6 of these classes per week, every single week. And that's what gets my day started. But even before that, when I get up, I wash my face and I put makeup on, full makeup on. First thing right when I wake up every morning. And then also another part of my daily routine is that I look fabulous every single day, no matter what. I love to look cute. I look cute when I go to Orange Theory Fitness. I have a rockin' body at 64, you guys. I've never been more fit. I have a determination. I have a mindset that I make every day my best day. And I pretend like my life's a movie. And I pretend like I'm in a movie and I totally live that way. So it's a mindset. It's my mindset. It's so magical. It's so fun.
I was just explaining on my Instagram, you're my first interview of season 2. We learned a lot in season 1, producing this podcast, and also my business really shifted in season 1. And I think working with you helped me realize, I think for so long, I was like, I want to build my dream business, right? And this last year, I had this shift where it's like, no, I'm building my dream life. And I'm building my dream business to go with the dream life. And you have your dream business too. And it's not running your life. So can you talk about that?
Yeah. So I work less and less and make more and more money. So this is what we all want, right? And it really is more about having shifting, like you said, my mindset about what's hard and what is easy, right? And though some things feel hard in the moment, I know that hard just comes from me. It's not the thing that's hard. It comes from me, right? So I decide if it's hard or if it's easy. And I also have decided and I'm committed to having sweaty armpits. This is what I say every day. I love a good challenge every day. So I say yes to a lot of things, but I also say no to a lot of things. So I have a goal in mind. So everything that I say yes to aligns with my goal. And I understand that in my business, I don't have to work a lot of hours. I love making money. I think money is just one of the best parts about life. I love talking about money. I could talk about money all day long. And money is my friend and money loves me and I love it, right? So we all have this relationship with money. And I had to create a better relationship with money alongside with creating a better relationship with my business, right? I had to become who I wanted my business, my money situation to be. I had to become that first. And then everything started lining up to that. I sell on Instagram. I inspire on Instagram. I motivate on Instagram. I stopped recording my podcast almost exactly a year ago, but my podcast downloads continue to rise. So I have I have 200 and something thousand downloads. I have 157 episodes of a podcast. People around the world keep downloading and listening to my podcast. And my Instagram keeps growing as well. And it's just part of who I am. It's just like I have a relationship with all of this part of me that has kind of transformed into this very successful business. Because if you are going to hire me, it's because you see that I have some kind of mindset that isn't common in a 64-year-old woman, right? And there's an energy about me that is very attractive. So I'm not chasing clients. I'm attracting clients who want what I have naturally, what I've built in me naturally, right? I'm just having a good time. I'm just having fun with my business. It does not feel hard. It felt hard 8 years ago when I started, but it feels so easy and so much a part of who I am now. It will keep evolving into new and different things as I evolve into new and different parts of who I am, right?
I was so attracted to that because it's like, I was coming up to 40 and you just like, I remember I was just talking to a friend and it was like when our moms turned 40, they got all these like terrible, like over the hill parties. And you know what I mean? It was like, that was like, and we just don't do that anymore. I don't think that's a thing. I mean, maybe it is, but like my friends and I are like, we're celebrating 40 and I love that. So I just saw you sort of as this example of like where I would like to go in my life. And that was so attractive to me. So I'd love to talk about working with you this last year because the name of this podcast is Superbloom Coach. And I launched it because 40 was my Superbloom year. Just the importance of having a coach. And I knew like I wanted to make $1 million this last year. I knew I needed a coach to help me manage my mind around this huge thing I was creating. So can you speak to that, like the importance of having a coach in your life and in your business?
I've had several coaches and I still have several coaches in my life who have helped me get out of my own way. So that's the main benefit of a coach is, especially a mindset coach, which I'm a mindset coach and you've been trained to be a mindset coach as well. So I coach on business. I coach on self-responsibility, self-concept, self-discipline, this self-possession where you're just very attached to who you are. You pull yourself out of everybody else's life and you begin to think about yourself differently and you become the watcher of you. You get out of yourself and you start watching yourself. And so that's what coaching helps us do, is helps us to sort out the facts from the story that we tell ourselves, right? So our brain really is functioning in survival mode most of the time. So to be able to create $1 million a year, like we can explain that in any way, right? So we can say, you called it, you just said this huge thing that I wanted to create for myself, right? Which if that's a helpful way to talk about it, then absolutely think of it as this huge thing. But what if it's not a huge thing? What if this is something that so many people easily do all of the time? Create $1 million a year is like nothing. So it all depends on the story we tell. And so what a coach, I feel like what I've helped you to do is to get out of your own way and tell the story about yourself and change your self-concept, because it's not the $1 million that changes us. We think the $1 million in the bank is actually going to give us the feelings we want. But that's a lie. That's not true at all. It's never the money. We have to become the woman who easily creates $1 million before the $1 million is even created. So we have to decide, and that's what I helped you to do, is to become her. beforehand. So we don't have to wait to create the $1 million to feel the feelings that we think the $1 million is going to give us, which is really just an up-leveled self-concept.
I actually just recorded my 1-year anniversary episode yesterday, and I went through a lot of like how I worked with you, becoming her, like how we worked on that a lot. And I explained the concept of $1 million Mariah. So I would love for you to explain what $1 million Mariah is, because you coined that.
You were already her. Right? You were already $1 million Mariah. And that's the difference in having a coach and letting your own brain decide for you, because we don't feel like we've accomplished it until the money's in the bank. But we won't get the money in the bank until we show up as that version of us that knows how to create the money and is confident enough to create the money and shows up for herself as $1 million Mariah would every single day. So you have to have this whole idea of what she looks like, what her routine is every day. What does she wear? What does she drive? What are her disciplines? What kind of relationship does she have with her money? What kind of relationship does she have with herself, right? And all of her most important relationships. So then you create her, and then you live as if, starting now, because that's the difference between making the money and just always wanting to make the money and chasing the money. You already are her, and you have the money, and then the money just starts coming. That's just truly how it works with everything we want. We have to show up as her. We have to decide our future self, what she looks like, who she is, what her story is about herself in her head, what she is worthy of. And I think worthy is the big word that you learned how to encapsulate and change, like what you are actually worthy of, right? So that's what we worked a lot on with you in this year, is knowing like you're already worthy of every single thing that you want. And you wanted to create $1 million. And the $1 million to me is inconsequential.
I agree, actually.
It's
yeah, now I totally agree with you.
Because
I remember fighting with you
right?
early on, and I was like, no, I want to make the $1 million. But like now I'm just like, I didn't make $1 million this last year. I know I'm going to make $1 million, but like I've changed so much. The $1 million doesn't matter.
Because you know you're worthy of the $1 million, and we can get the $1 million. We can work our fingers to the bone and get the $1 million and have the $1 million, but it will not have changed who we are. And that's the whole purpose of the dream, is to become the woman of our dreams. That's the whole purpose, to know that we're worthy of every single thing that we want. And that is actually our job. Our job is to go and get every single thing that we want before we die. That's why we're here on planet Earth. 100%, I believe that. Yeah. It's so fun. So good.
Hold up. Before we go any further, I need to let you in on something. If you're loving this episode, you have to check out Superbloom Coach Society, because this podcast, it's just the beginning. SCS is the coaching community built for listeners of this show. It's where we take everything you're learning here and go 10 times deeper with live coaching from me, monthly trainings, and the exact mindset and marketing tools to help you scale. Inside, you'll finally have a blueprint, a clear, strategic path to grow your business with intention, instead of chasing every trend or second-guessing your next move. Each month, we focus on one powerful topic, from offers and visibility to money mindset and client attraction, so you can build real momentum and see results that last. And you won't be doing it alone. You'll be surrounded by a community of driven, like-minded women who are all building businesses that align with their highest vision. Head to mariahriona.com/society and let's make this your Superbloom year. You know, it's funny because before I started working with you, I had done a lot of I wouldn't say practical work, but I had done a lot of like the theory work around this like future self concept. And I knew who future Mariah, I wasn't calling her $1 Million Mariah, but like I knew who like CEO future Mariah was. But I think I didn't make the connection until we started working together that like, yeah, that's future Mariah that I'm choosing, but like I have to start showing up as her today. Like, because I think that's where people get stuck. They see the future version, like the $1 million, but they're still showing up the same now, thinking that this future thing's gonna happen just out of nowhere. You really embrace like the showing up every day, the having the routine, like the just making that happen. And I think that's what gives you that real sense of like, oh, I am this person, right? Before the, yeah, exactly. And I want to go back because you've taught me a few things this last year. I think you say it in a few different ways, but I love it so much. It's like making every single day the best day. And you phrased it a few different ways. Like you've told me to like, show up like you're in a movie, like you're the main character of the movie, which I love. And you also say that you treat every day like it's your birthday. So can you speak to that?
So I really started paying attention to my thoughts and feelings and actions, right? When I realized that my circumstances were not creating how I was feeling. When I realized that the story in my head was creating how I was feeling and how I was showing up every day. I had one birthday aha moment that, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or so, that I was just I've always been so excited about my birthdays, right? And so I would show up on my birthday. I'd get up super early. I'd be ready for all the phone calls and all the texts. I'd put on makeup right off the bat. I'd go work out and be so happy and just be ready for the celebration and for the balloons to be delivered and the flowers to be delivered. And I'd just be on point all day. And it was just the best day ever. And I literally had that mindset all day. And then I went to bed that night and I had this whole aha. I was like, what if every day I treated as if it were my birthday? Could I do that? What would that feel like? What would that look like? And I started practicing that. And that has just opened up all of my dreams coming true, really, truly. Showing up as though every day actually is my birthday has really, truly changed my life. When I say like, I'm just always ready, right? I'm always ready for the universe to deliver the magic. The magic is always here. Everything's always available. Every day is such a huge gift. And I know so many amazing things are going to happen, and they are always happening. And if I'm not ready for them, if I'm not expecting them, I'm going to miss them. So I'm always ready. I'm always expecting. And I say yes to all the magic. And that's the magic of a birthday to me, right? Because it's more of a celebration of life. Life is just always meant to be celebrated. And so we don't see life as it is. We see life as we are. And I say this all the time. A woman could come to my exact circumstances and have a totally different experience, because the aha moment is always that women have said to me over and over and over again on Instagram and because I'm on TikTok too. If anyone's on TikTok, follow me on TikTok, but on the TikTok. But listen, well, sure you're happy. I'd be happy too if I had everything you have, right? If I looked like you, if I were married to someone like you are, if I lived in a house overlooking the ocean, of course. But that's not true at all. I'm happy because I celebrate my life every single day. And it's a practice, it's a habit, it's a discipline that I totally choose and I'm completely involved with every single day.
And also, the thing is, like, all those things that you have in your life, you created that because of your mindset as well, like the house on the beach and the body and the style and all of that. So yeah, that's amazing.
I had the idea of it and decided that was what I was going to create for myself. Everything I have, my brain told me no, my husband told me no, and the whole world told me no. And I was just like, watch me, sit back and watch me. We're doing this anyway. And that's the beauty of having a coach as well, right? Because your coach won't let you get away with saying, I can't. Your coach is just like, but what if you can't?
Exactly. I think as women, especially, we wait for permission. And I think that's where a lot of that like jealousy comes from people who see you online. Like you think that like you're not allowed to go out and get it. It has to be handed to you, right? We think like things have to just like it just fell in your lap. No, like you created that reality. I love my birthday too, but I always expected my husband to throw me a birthday party. Like, cause I had this thought like, you can't throw yourself a birthday party. And then I would get mad because it wasn't what I wanted, because he was supposed to be able to read my mind and know what I wanted. And last year, for the first time ever, when I threw my $60,000 birthday party, I was like, oh no, I can't throw myself a birthday party. I'm going to get exactly what I want. And I'm doing that again this year. It's a much smaller birthday, but like I'm having a bunch of girlfriends over. My private chef is making us like a 3-course meal. And I told my husband, I was like, I love you, but you're not invited. But like, I just wanted girls. And so I always thought like, it's this like waiting for permission, which I think we as women have just learned. And it's like, we're not told like, if you want something, you go out and make it happen. And you're worthy and allowed to make that happen. And like, now I just have no qualms about like, well, yeah, I'm throwing myself a birthday party. But like, that was something I had to get over. So can you speak to that like looking for permission?
Yes. Well, I think as women, we've been raised, and it's kind of the air we breathe, the water we swim in, that we are here to support everybody else's dreams, right? Our husbands and our kids and our parents, and you know, we're the supporters. And we were taught to ask permission, unfortunately. And then and so my husband has never wanted what I wanted. Right? It's totally okay. But I was definitely part of a whole generation of women. I supported my husband. He made all the big money. He got to make all the big money decisions and, all of that nonsense, but that's just is my generation. And so when I turned 50, I decided I had the thought, Jeff's in my way of getting what I want. Right. And I didn't want to leave him, but I knew that I had to get what I wanted before I died. And I was willing to leave him. And he knew that, because I would say, well, I'm going to go do it whether you want to do it or not. And he'd go, okay, well, let's go do it, because he just has a different mindset than I have. That was 14 years ago, when I started making the changes to throw myself my own party, to buy myself my own car, to just talk about things so differently, start my own business, make my own money, think bigger than I've ever thought before. It has been a challenge. What I would say, it's been the best gift that I've always wanted, a luxury lifestyle like you sell, right? I always wanted something just quite out of my reach, something that I would have to talk my husband into. And I never liked doing that. I didn't want to have to ask him for something, right? Because it was always just a little too much. So I would settle for something less than what I truly wanted. But that's what drove me to start my coaching business. I was like, what if I could make an extra $100,000 cash a year, and I could live in a house overlooking the ocean, which my husband always said, we'll never be able to afford that. So, but what if we could afford that? What if I could drive, which I just bought my dream car, my 2025, listen to you guys, Porsche Carrera 911 convertible, brand new, white, black top, her name is Betty. I walk out to my garage and I get into my $175,000 car in my garage, in my beautiful dream home overlooking the ocean. And you guys, all of this happened because I decided I was worthy of every single thing that I wanted, even if my husband thought it was too much, or even if my husband didn't think we could do it. Now he totally has a different mindset because of how I've shown him what's possible for us as a couple, right? So I didn't have to leave him. And actually, you guys, this is what I want to be clear about. My husband has never been in my way of me getting what I want. It's always been me in my way of getting what I want. The mountain is always us. It is never outside of us. It's always our brain. It's always the story we have. It's always what we think we're worthy of, our self-concept and our limiting belief. My biggest belief, and I said this before, I'm going to say it again. You got to want what you want. Give yourself permission. The only permission you need is from you. You don't need permission outside of you. You have to know that what you want is available for you. And it's what's possible for you. And then you, in the process of going after it, making that the thing, like a dog with a bone, you go and you figure out a way to get it. And that's what gets you up every single morning, get your makeup on, get you looking amazing, working out, like raising your energy level, right? Today's my birthday. I'm going to go make it all happen today. And I call it putting the marble in the jar of the dream. Getting what I want. And one day that marble is going to be full. One day I'm going to be walking out and getting into my 911 Carrera Porsche and driving down the road, because I am a woman who not only deserves that, but that is who I am now, right? I'm not going to drive anything less than that. And right now I can't even dream bigger than that, because that's always been like my top-notch dream, right? So fun to live that way and to become her, to just keep becoming. It's a life worth living, for sure.
I want to touch on money and money mindset specifically, because in my Superbloom Coach Society this month, we're talking about money mindset all month. And I know, like, we kind of talked about how I didn't need the $1 million to become $1 Million Mariah. Like, you don't need the circumstance of the money. But at the same time, I think especially for women, money is so important. And working on your money mindset and actually making the money, it really does change you. Like, I know you have spoken about how when you went out and started making your own money, it does give you this sense of freedom. And I have an amazing husband who has always supported me and my business, and he's been the breadwinner, and he's really just let me make the money for my business. And this last year, I actually became the breadwinner. And like, that was a cool shift, in our relationship. I know that we can work on our thoughts around it, but something about the money and being able to make our own money is really powerful for women.
So money is amazing. Money is awesome. Money gives us a very rich and wealthy life. I think that it's to our benefit to not be shy about talking about money. I think we've been kind of trained not to talk about money, but it's important for us to talk about money and what's possible with money and to love money. There's nothing wrong with loving money, right? So we don't say, we don't have to give like an excuse for money ever. Like I will just say, oh, I love money. I love money and money loves me. And I'm so proud of that. So it's not like we would say, well, money, money's good, but money's not everything. I'm not doing it for the money. Now I say, I'm 100% doing it for the money. Yeah, because money is so powerful in the hands of women. We need more women over 40 making millions of dollars a year. And there's so many reasons why, because money is powerful in the world. Money gives us access to so much more, right? And whether our husband is the big money maker, it's still half of ours. If you live in California, my friends, and your husband is a millionaire, you're a millionaire. And half of everything is yours. And so I had to step into that mindset, right? So I had to be the one to go, well, he couldn't even be doing what he's doing if he wasn't married to me. And Jeff completely agrees with all of this. But I had to step into that first, right? I had to own that first. And so to be able to know, like, to have this relationship, this loving, kind, generous relationship with money, where we're not afraid of each other, and we're not resisting each other, we're not hiding from each other, right? We're looking at each other. We're like, I'm counting my money. I appreciate my money. So I have this amazing relationship where ask me anything about money, and I love to talk about money. I love to talk about how much I have, how much I love to exchange. So I think about money as an exchange for life, right? More money for me means more life experience, more access to beautiful experiences. I got to go on my dream trip. I flew first class to Germany and then to Paris. Super bougie, the most I could have, the most experience I could have, right? So I did that this year in 2025, and I went to London and I went to Paris and I went to Germany and stayed in the best hotels and did the most top-notch things. And so, and that's been my dream. That's the level that I love to live at. And this is what I'm worthy of. This is what I've wanted. And this is what I've been able to create for myself, right? So having money, loving money, creating money, this is why we're here. Money is a very powerful relationship for us women in the second half of life to have freedom, right? We want to have the utmost freedom, and money, I believe, is the bridge, is the gateway, is the pathway to freedom. So good.
And women had just not had historically that access to money and to that freedom. And I think we're starting to see,
or the mindset of it. A lot of rich women don't act rich, right? They hide from it. They're afraid of it, or they're shy about it, embarrassed about it. Right. And I'm just like, you step into it because it's better for all of us. Women, rich women who are proud of their riches. So good for all of us women to know what's available for all of us. So good. So fun. Makes it a fun life.
I turned 40 and I felt like something, it was even before I turned 40, something was percolating, you know? And like, can you speak to the second half of life and just why it's so powerful and why we as women have a responsibility to show up as our best selves?
Second half of life is a blast, right? It was life-changing for me in my 40s. You know, menopause, kids moving away, we've raised our kids. I read a book by Father Richard Rohr called Falling Upward. And it's about the second half of life. I read that in my 40s and it was life-changing to me. So I highly recommend that for anybody, you know, because we really are like in a chrysalis. It's like we're becoming someone different. The first half of our life, we're kind of building a container for our life, right? We have these ideas from other people about like what you're supposed to do in your 20s, what you're supposed to do in your 30s, what you're supposed to do in your 40s. And this is what I've decided. We get to make it all up. It gets to be all made up. I'm literally making up my life as I go. I'm not doing anything anyone else is doing. I don't care what anyone else's opinion is. This is the beauty of the second half of life. I cared so much my first half. Literally cared so much about other, like fitting in, being in groups of people. What are the general opinions? I cared about being popular. I cared so much about being liked. I don't care about any of that stuff anymore. I trust myself most of all. I trust my decisions most of all. I do not ask for anyone else's opinion about anything. I am so trustworthy as far as I'm concerned. I get up and decide what I'm going to do every single day. I do, and anyone that comes across my path that has an opinion about me that isn't kind, they are blocked and deleted from my life instantly. And this is the practice in the second half of life that is the most beneficial, is letting go. Letting go, letting go, letting go. And that's the beauty of the second half of life. We don't have to drag anyone with us, any person with us. We don't have to drag any ideas that are outdated with us. We don't have to drag anyone else's opinions with us that aren't serving us anymore. We get to literally just reinvent ourselves every single day if we want to. And I feel like I do. I'm just like, what's a new thing I can think today? What's a new practice I can pick up today? What's something I can let go of that is boring to me or isn't serving me anymore? It isn't serving my future self. So the beauty of the second half of life really, truly is becoming this fabulous, over the top, colorful, bright personality that maybe we've always been afraid to show, like our truest self, our strongest, our most confident and brilliant self, right? Second half of life has been by far, and I loved my first half, but I just didn't realize how small I was playing in this container that was not even built by me. And the second half, I no longer have a container. Everything is created. Every single thing is created by me in the second half of life. And that's so much fun.
All of my clients this last year, my branding clients, they were all coaches, and they were all women in their 40s and 50s who had like played by the rules and got burnt out. Like they had stayed in the container. They had like ticked all the boxes of what we like, and all highly ambitious, highly successful women, doctors, finance, like just like big earners, very ambitious. But like they had done all the things that like society had told them they were supposed to do, but they weren't fulfilled, right? The way that we're told that that's going to fulfill you. And so I think there is this magic in the second half of life where you hopefully have this realization that it's like, well, I did what everyone said to do. And I think that entrepreneurship for women is such a brilliant avenue to help you explore who you are and who you want to become. It kind of like building these personal brands, like it allows you to become your future self and make crazy good money while you're doing it. So I really love, like, I see, like, that's why we see so many coaches that are like leaving traditionally successful careers and they're like, this isn't what I want anymore.
We get to create our own business, right? I work 2 half days a week. Amazing. It feels so easy and it's so fun. It's just something I would want to do anyways, even if I didn't get paid for it. It's just like my genius, right? Your genius is branding and coaching. The burnout actually ends up being our greatest gift when we do everything that the world tells us to do to be successful. And then we hit our 40s and 50s and we're totally burnt out and we're just like, something. And then we get to awaken to this whole new way of being, which is so brilliant, so beautiful. And we get to find our truest self all on our own, right? Because we're always enough.
I don't ever want to retire. I love what I do, you know, but like you work 2 half days a week. I work 3 days a week. Right now, I'm very happy with that because what we're doing is we're creating from like our souls and putting it out in the world. And it's like, I feel like when I'm too exhausted to do that, I will have like completed my life, you know? So I don't ever want to retire. So I think it's so special to be able to build a business where you are just sharing your soul and your gifts with the world, you know, and to, you know, but to do it on your own terms where for you, that's 2 half days a week, which is magical.
Right. And that's what it's evolved into. That was my goal when I started the business. When I started the business, though, I was working every day. I was just growing and getting better as a coach. So I was just coaching everybody that would say yes. And so I was coaching every day. I had lots and lots of clients. And then I turned it eventually into a group, you know, coaching groups, which lessened my days working and my load working. But I had to become who I am now. It was all the beauty of the job and the beauty of working because I love to work, right? And that's a mindset too. I love to work and I love to play. I love the whole life experience, but to have a nice balance for sure and have fun doing it and have lots of rest time and taking very good care of myself. But it becomes like this authentic part of us. My job is an authentic part of who I am. I can't coach you past where I have been, right? So no one's gonna hire me if I haven't actually experienced what they're experiencing. And that's why I'm so successful at what I do, because this is truly like you can see I'm living what I'm selling.
Kym, this has been such an amazing conversation. I feel like I could just talk to you for hours and hours. I am sure there are women either nearing 40 or over 40 who have listened to this or watched this episode and they're just wondering, like, how do you become this, right? If you could leave them with one little piece of wisdom, what would you, if they're longing for the second half to be the best half, what would you tell them?
Hire a coach. That's what I would say. Hire a coach.
We're going to put all of your information, like I said, in the description for this. And Kym is my coach. She's amazing. Highly recommend. You offer one-on-one coaching, which was what I wanted. And you also offer group coaching. So we'll put all that information. So, where else can people connect with you? Instagram, TikTok?
Yeah, connect with me at Kym Showers Life Coach on Instagram. Connect with me on TikTok at Kym Showers Life Coach. You can listen to my podcast. It's on every platform. That is called Reinvented After 40. I am starting another version of a podcast in 2026. It'll be called the Kym Showers Podcast. Yes, so that'll be super fun. Yes, I would love for you guys to follow me and come get a daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and encouragement every single day from me, because I have learned how to do that for myself.
Thank you so much, Kym. I'm so grateful for you.
I love you. I'm so proud of you. And this was my honor and joy.
Thank you.